I hadn't been home in 9 years. 9 years of missed birthdays, missed calls, missed everything. I told myself it was worth it, that I was building something, that when I came back, everything would finally be better. But nothing could have prepared me for what I saw that day. 2 children, living in my house, calling my mother grandma. And the worst part, they had my eyes. The engine of my truck went silent. I just sat there for a moment, staring at the house. It looked smaller than I remembered. Or maybe I had just grown into a different life. The paint was peeling. The roof sagged slightly to one side. I felt something twist in my chest. Guilt. Heavy, sudden. "I'm back, Mom," I whispered. But even as I said it, something didn't feel right. I stepped out of the truck. That's when I saw them. 2 bicycles. Small. One blue, one red. Leaning against the wall like they belonged there. I frowned. My mother didn't have grandchildren. At least not that I knew of. Then I heard it. A child laughing. Inside the house. I froze. I walked toward the door slowly. Each step felt heavier than the last. I raised my hand and knocked. Once. Then again. The door opened. And there she was. My mother. Older. Thinner. But still her. Daniel. Her voice cracked. I didn't say anything. I just pulled her into a hug. Tight. Like I was trying to hold onto 9 lost years all at once. For a second, everything felt normal again. Safe. Like nothing had changed. But deep inside, something felt off. I stepped into the house. And stopped. Drawings on the walls. Shoes by the door. 2 backpacks. Not temporary. Not random. This was a life. A real one. "Mom, whose things are these?" I asked. She hesitated. Just for a second. "Some children I'm helping," she said. I nodded. But something inside me tightened. Because I could feel it. That wasn't the full truth. Not even close. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling. The bicycles. The drawings. The laughter. It kept looping in my head. Over and over. And then the thought came. Quiet. But heavy. What if this wasn't a coincidence? I told myself I was overthinking it. That I had just been gone too long. That things change. People change. Life moves on. But the feeling didn't go away. It stayed. Quiet. Persistent. Like something in the room had shifted, and I was the only one who noticed. The next few days, I tried to ignore it. I focused on the house. The roof needed fixing. The fence was falling apart. The kitchen window wouldn't close properly. Things I understood. Things I could fix. I worked from morning until evening. Hammering, measuring, replacing. Keeping my hands busy. So my mind wouldn't ask questions. But I kept noticing things. The drawings on the wall weren't new. The tape was old, slightly yellow at the edges. They had been there for a long time. The backpacks had names written inside them. In my mother's handwriting. Michael. Michelle. I saw a growth chart on a door frame. Small pencil lines. Dates. Years of them. This wasn't temporary. This wasn't helping someone. This was a life built over time. A long time. And then there was my mother. The way she moved around them. Not careful. Not like someone helping. But natural. Automatic. like she had done it 1,000 times. The way she fixed the girl's collar without even looking. The way she gave the boy space without asking why. She knew them too well. I told myself not to jump to conclusions. I told myself it wasn't my place. But the thought kept coming back. Again, and again, and again. It happened on a Thursday. I remember that clearly. Because everything felt normal. Too normal. I was inside fixing the hallway. Paint on my hands. Music playing quietly from my phone. The kids were in the kitchen. Talking. Arguing about something small. Like kids do. Michael, I need the calculator. I'm using it. You're drawing. I'm measuring. That doesn't make sense. It does to me. I almost smiled. It felt real. Warm. Like I had walked into a life already in progress. A life that didn't include me. Then I heard something fall. Papers sliding across the floor. I stepped into the kitchen. Hey, careful, I said. I got it, the girl replied quickly. But I was already bending down. Helping. Picking things up. A notebook. A worksheet. And then, a folded piece of paper. I didn't mean to read it. I swear I didn't. But something about it. The format. The seal. The layout. Made my eyes stop. Just for a second. It was a birth certificate. My fingers tightened around the paper. I looked at the name. Michael Daniel Jackson. Time slowed. My chest felt tight. I read it again. Slowly. Carefully. Like maybe I had misunderstood. But I hadn't. Mother Emily Harper. The name hit me like a memory I had buried. Emily. I hadn't heard that name in years. Not once. Not since I left. Father. Blank. Just an empty line. I stayed there. Crouched on the floor. Holding that paper. For a few seconds. Maybe longer. I don't even know. Then I stood up. Slowly. Like if I moved too fast. Everything would break. I handed the paper back. This fell out, I said. My voice sounded normal. Too normal. The girl barely looked at it. Thanks, she said. And went back to writing. Like nothing had happened. Like my world hadn't just shifted. I walked back into the hallway. Picked up my brush. Put it down again. I couldn't breathe properly. Michael. Daniel. Jackson. I said the name in my head. Over and over. Like it might change. Like it might stop meaning what I thought it meant. But it didn't. I went back to the kitchen doorway. And just stood there. Watching him. Really watching. For the first time. The way he held the pencil. The way he tilted his head slightly when focusing. The quiet. The precision. The way he noticed everything. I felt something drop inside me. Heavy. Final. Then I looked at the girl. The same eyes. Different energy. But still. Something familiar. Something mine. My hand tightened into a fist. I stepped back. I'll be outside, I said. And I walked out. I stood in the yard. Hands in my pockets. Not moving. Not thinking clearly. Just standing there. Because deep down, I already knew the truth. I just wasn't ready to say it out loud. I didn't confront her that night. I wanted to. Every part of me was ready to walk into that kitchen, drop the paper on the table, and demand the truth. But I didn't. We sat at dinner like nothing had happened. The girl talked. A lot. Something about school. Something about how her teacher was wrong. She spoke with confidence, like she expected to be heard. And somehow, I listened. The boy was quiet. He only spoke when he had something to say. And when he did, he was always right. I watched them. The way they moved. The way they looked at each other. The way they existed in that space. Like they belonged there. Like they had always belonged there. And the worst part, I felt it. That pull. That connection. Something deep inside me recognizing them. Before my mind was ready to accept it. That night I couldn't sleep. Again, I stared at the ceiling. And one thought kept repeating. Not a question anymore. A truth. They're mine. I closed my eyes. But it didn't go away. It only got louder. 9 years. 9 years of their lives. Gone. Moments I would never get back. First steps. First words. First days of school. All of it. Gone. And I wasn't there. I sat up. Ran my hands over my face. Tried to breathe. Tried to think. Why didn't she tell me? The question hit harder every time. Why didn't she tell me? I didn't get an answer that night. But the next morning, I didn't have to ask. She was already waiting for me. Sitting at the kitchen table. No rush. No movement. Just waiting. That's when I knew. She knew that I knew. Sit down, she said. Her voice was calm. Too calm. I didn't argue. I sat. There was a box on the table. Old. Metal. Simple. I should have given this to you a long time ago, she said. My chest tightened. What is it? I asked. Everything, she said. I didn't like the way that sounded. Not at all. I opened the box. Slowly. The first thing I saw was the papers. 2 of them. I picked them up. One, then the other. Michael Daniel Jackson. Michelle Rose Jackson. My hands started shaking. Just slightly. But enough. Mother Emily Harper. I swallowed. Hard. And then, there it was. Father. My name. Written clearly. Like it had always been there. Like it had always been true. I stared at it. For a long time. Then I saw the photo. Emily. Pregnant. Standing by a window. Looking tired. Scared. Trying to be strong. I hadn't seen her face in 9 years. And suddenly, it all came rushing back. Then the letter. I picked it up. My hands felt heavy. Like I already knew. That once I started reading, there was no going back. I read every word. About the day she came to the door. About the rain. About the twins. About everything. About the nights she almost called me. But didn't. About the years she carried it alone. About the choice she made. Not because it was right, but because she thought it would protect me. I stopped at one line. Read it again. I am tired, my son. Something broke inside me. Quietly, but completely. I put the letter down. And just sat there. I couldn't look at her. Not yet. 9 years. I covered my face with my hands. Not crying. Not moving. Just trying to hold everything together. I missed everything, I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. Silence. I missed their whole lives. I know, she said. No excuses. No defense. Just truth. I looked up at her. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. She didn't look away. Because I was afraid, she said. Not dramatic. Not emotional. Just honest. I saw what that life was doing to you, she continued. I couldn't bring you back to it before you had something real. I clenched my jaw. That wasn't your choice to make. I know, she said. And somehow, that made it harder. Because she wasn't fighting me. She was telling the truth. I kept waiting for the right time, she said quietly. But every year it got harder. I looked at her hands. Cracked. Worn. Tired. 9 years. She carried this. Alone. I pushed my chair back. Got up. Walked around the table. And dropped to my knees. I didn't plan it. It just happened. I wrapped my arms around her. And for the first time in years, I felt like a son again. Not a businessman. Not someone who had everything under control. Just a son. And she broke. I felt it. In the way she held onto me. In the way her breath shook. 9 years. Finally. Coming out. We stayed like that for a while. I don't know how long. But something changed. Not fixed. Not perfect. But real. What do I say to them? I asked quietly. She looked at me. You don't have to say anything today, she said. Just be there. I nodded. Because for the first time, I understood. This wasn't something I could fix in a day. But I could start. I didn't move from that chair for a while. I just sat there, listening to the silence, trying to understand how my life had changed in a single morning. At 3 p.m., I heard them. Voices outside. The girl first, talking fast, like she always had something important to say. The door opened. Footsteps. Then silence. They saw me. I felt it immediately. The shift in the room. My heart started beating faster. Not fear. Something else. Something heavier. My mother stepped forward. Come sit down, she said gently. They didn't argue. They just watched. Careful. Curious. I couldn't look away. This is Daniel, she said. Then paused. Just for a second. He's your father. The word hit the room like something solid. The girl didn't react right away. She just stared at me. Like she was trying to solve a problem. You didn't know about us, she asked. I swallowed. No, I said. She nodded slowly. Processing. You're here now, she said. Yes. Another pause. Are you going to leave again? That question went straight through me. I looked at her. Really looked. At her eyes. At the way she stood. Strong. Unafraid. No, I said. I'm not going anywhere. She held my gaze. A long moment. Then she nodded. Okay. Just like that. Like it was a decision. I felt something shift inside me. Then I looked at him. Michael. He hadn't said a word. He just sat there. Hands in his lap. Watching. Michael, I said quietly. He looked up. Those eyes. My eyes. I'm sorry I wasn't here, I said. The words felt small. Too small. For something this big. He didn't speak. He just looked at me. for a long moment. Then he nodded. Once, but it wasn't just a nod. It meant something. I could feel it. Then he reached into his bag, pulled out a notebook, opened it, and slid it across the table toward me. I looked down. A drawing. A crane. Detailed. Measured. Precise. The arm proportions are right, I said quietly. He looked at me again. Something changed in his expression. I measured it, he said. I nodded. I can tell. And in that moment, something connected. Not perfect. Not complete. But real. The days that followed weren't easy. I made mistakes. A lot of them. I talked too much. When he needed silence, I tried to choose my words carefully. Too carefully. You're being careful, she told me one evening. You don't have to be. I laughed. Because she was right. Slowly, things started to change. I started waking up early, helping my mother, setting up her stand, talking to people who already knew her name. For the first time, she wasn't alone. I fixed the house, room by room, not because it needed it, but because I needed to. I showed up every day. School drop-offs, pickups, homework, small conversations. I learned what she liked, what he didn't, when to speak, when to stay quiet. And one day, something small happened. She fell off her bike. It was fast, sudden. 1 second she was riding. The next, she was on the ground. I didn't think. I just ran, picked her up. She held on to me, crying. And for the first time, it didn't feel awkward. It felt natural, like I had always been there. It hurts, she said. I know, I said. And I meant it. I carried her inside, cleaned the wound, stayed with her. And when she finally stopped crying, she looked at me and said, I'm okay. And I believed her. That night, I sat in the living room. My mother was there. The kids too. Talking, arguing, laughing. Ordinary sounds. But to me, they were everything. 9 years. I couldn't get back. But this moment, I had it. And I wasn't going to lose it again. I looked at my mother. She looked back at me. No words. We didn't need them. Some things don't need to be said. They're already understood. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't thinking about what I lost. I was thinking about what I still had. And that was enough.